Ever since the release of Vampire Survivors, a game that I would have thought my twin-stick shooting instincts would hate since it is played using auto-aim, it has been interesting to see other titles show up working with the same core elements while changing up the details. Most, honestly, have been half-hearted attempts at best, doing little more than changing out specifics like theming and the like without attempting to do much to differentiate themselves. For its faults, that's at least one aspect of Outer Terror I can respect, that while its play is in the same style, that its approach is completely different. I just wish that it was a bit more compelling as a package. More than anything, what this game attempts to bring to the table is a sense of style and personality. With stories, themes, and characters inspired by B-movies and horror comics from the 80s and 90s, its greatest strength is its overall framework of presentation. Each chapter has its own story and thread, and you'll get to tackle them either solo or co-op with 10 pretty different characters, 2 of each seemingly inspired by each of the 5 stories. Stage layouts, objectives, enemies, and even some impressive bosses will vary for each, at least helping them to each feel distinctive. The problem, unfortunately, is that I'd consider the overall gameplay to be the weakest aspect of the experience. With people having been steeped by Vampire Survivors and even some of its imitators, the often somewhat empty spaces you'll wander around and packs of enemies you'll encounter just aren't very exciting by comparison. Pickups and upgrades, by comparison, also feel lacking and a bit bland. While having a general story and some objectives to complete do help play feel a bit less aimless than normal, it also sadly ends up being a bit dull, with you wandering around while looking at your primitive map in the hopes of finding where to go next. Once you finally trigger the boss, there's at least a little excitement typically, but again the game just feels like it's missing the special sauce to add some real flavor and get it to the next level. The end result is at least unique, and it has its moments, but it also feels like a missed opportunity. Adding the story elements, a variety of core characters who are at least cool on paper, and instilling the player with more of a sense of purpose are all smart moves. The issue is that the core gameplay that comes along for the ride simply isn't able to back up those elements with enough intensity and fun to make the most of things. While some may still enjoy the deviation from the norm, you'll have to step down your expectations a little in order to avoid disappointment. Overall, my final score for the game ended up being a 6.9. And if you're interested in picking it up, it's currently available on the Switch eShop for $9.99. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this review. And if you'd like more information or ideas of indie games worth checking out on Switch, be sure to click on the link provided in the description. Until next time.